What caused your PTSD? When I met a guy willing to rent his spare room for me and my daughter Lacey, the deal seemed too good to be true. We'd spent months bouncing between cheap motels and friends' couches. Nobody wanted to rent to a single mom who worked at a diner. So when I first saw Daniel's listing, I was beyond skeptical. But then he opened the door, smiling warmly and shaking my hand like an old friend, and relief flooded through me. He listened quietly when I explained our situation, nodding sympathetically and reassuring me that he valued helping people over making money. His place was gorgeous, a well-kept home in a safe neighborhood with kids playing outside. I felt like I hit the jackpot. The day we moved in, Daniel helped unload the car. He smiled a lot, not in the creepy way either, but in a way that made it seem like he was genuinely happy to help. He'd ask about Lacey's favorite books and promised her he'd keep an eye out for new ones at the library he volunteered at. It was thoughtful, and for the first few weeks, life felt easy again. Lacey settled into her new school. She liked Daniel's big backyard and how he kept popsicles stocked in the freezer for her. Everything felt right. But then a couple of months in, I started noticing little things. Nothing huge at first. One day my underwear drawer was a mess. I'd just done laundry, so it made sense to blame it on rushing. But then my journal was open to a page I hadn't looked at in weeks. I brushed it off because Lacey sometimes flipped through things when she was bored. But then Lacey started getting jumpy. She'd wake up at night and come crawling into bed with me saying the red light in the corner of her ceiling scared her. When I went to look, there was nothing there. I convinced myself it was trauma from our past life creeping back in. Around that same time, Daniel's conversations got a bit too personal. Like one night at dinner, he casually mentioned how it was probably good Lacey wasn't taking ballet anymore because she didn't seem to enjoy it. It would have been thoughtful if it weren't for the fact that this was a private conversation I'd had with her the night before when she'd whispered it to me. When I looked at him funny, he just laughed it off, saying he'd probably overheard through the walls because they were so thin, but they weren't thin at all. The unease only grew when the electric bill suddenly doubled. Daniel blamed it on faulty wiring, but something about the way he said it felt rehearsed, too smooth. At night, when everything was quiet, I'd sometimes hear this faint buzzing sound coming from somewhere in the walls. Daniel always dismissed it when I asked about it, but it didn't feel right. Then my anxiety got worse. I started staying up late scrolling through Reddit threads about surveillance paranoia. People wrote about hidden cameras in Airbnbs and apartments. It seemed impossible that something like that could happen to me. Daniel seemed so normal, but every night lying in bed I felt watched, like there was a pair of eyes in every shadow. Then one night after my shift, my coworker Andrea came up laughing. She nudged me and said, "Hey Tess, did you know you have a twin online? This chick on some creepy livestream site looks exactly like you." I laughed it off at first, but I couldn't stop thinking about it on the drive home. My stomach tightened when I walked through the door. Daniel greeted me from the couch as usual, but the whole time he was smiling, my skin crawled. That night, Daniel went to bed early, leaving his laptop open on the kitchen table. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't shake Andrea's words. My hands shook when I opened the screen. His browser was still open. It had this dark-themed site up with a bunch of thumbnails of different rooms. I clicked one labeled guest bedroom. My heart stopped. I was looking at an online live stream of our bedroom. Lacey's stuffed bunny on the bed, my clothes piled on a chair. It was happening in real time. I clicked another one labeled bathroom. My stomach dropped seeing my face from earlier that morning getting ready for work. There was another labeled Lacey's room. It showed my daughter sleeping soundly, the red glow of a hidden camera faintly visible in the corner. Below the videos were chat rooms filled with disgusting comments, anonymous users calling out private details about my life. There were even subscription options promising exclusive footage. I couldn't breathe. I felt violated, terrified, sick. And there at the top was Daniel's username. He was listed as the host. His smiling profile picture taunted me, the same friendly grin he always wore when he asked if we needed anything. I stared at the screen, barely able to process what I was seeing. Daniel had been watching us this whole time. I should have screamed. I should have packed up and left, but I didn't. Instead, I started planning to ruin Daniel's life, because the next time he came home, he was going to get something from me that neither he nor his viewers would ever forget. The rest of the story is on my channel and linked below.